Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast. If you don't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, anywhere you find your podcast. Don't forget, numbbillsfan.com has all of our content. All right, welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast, episode number 127. This one is a really quick one. Sponsors and stuff, as you know, the people we support, puntdrunksports.com. I've been on the sidelines for grandstandsportsnetwork.com. This show plays over there as well. Really stoked to be in the sidelines at Bills camp. By the way, I'm your host, David Palermo. Welcome back. Been on the sidelines. This was trying to think about my shirt rotation, day 4. For me, and today was day 7 of camp. So really quick, right off the bat, I thought it was an interesting day. I noticed a lot of I focused in on Peterman today, and Peterman is pretty solid. By the way, one thing with Peterman is I don't really notice like a drop off. He's relatively productive when he's in there. I did notice some sacks today at camp. So, you know, you had certain things to look out for, I would say. But one thing I noticed was Peterman right off the bat. If you want to say things like stick out to you, you know, it's kind of weird. Now that I'm starting to settle in at camp, things are just starting to come to me. And on the real low, it's like the thing that glared out to me today was tight end Wes Saxton, number 80, 2 years in the league, 6'4". There's not a tight end that is shorter than 6'3" on the roster, and that's Nick O'Leary and Charles Clay. Logan Thomas is 6'6". Kroom and Tobridge, they're both 6'5". So Wes Saxton has developed some kind of connection with Nathan Peterman. Last thing they did was like a 2-minute drill, or I think that's what they might have called it. You had 2 minutes, but last thing they did at practice today was you had all three units, right? So you had Taylor with his group, the ones. You had Yates with the twos. You had Peterman with whatever left over. You know, so between the twos and the threes, it's kind of like a hodgepodge mix-up. And days like today where you have Micah Hyde out defensively, you know, you have other guys like Gary stepping up in there for him to start. And Sean McDermott said he earned it. So I thought it was interesting that the way they did it was, you know, if you're successful, you keep the drive alive. And the only one to score a touchdown there was Nathan Peterman's unit. And, yeah, it's just, you know, it's depth guys and depth guys. But, hey, if this is the quarterback that the Bills drafted this year, you let Cardale Jones go, hey, I'm pretty stoked on it. I'm really stoked on it. I don't think things are that bad. Tyrod Taylor today, I thought he had some nice stuff today with Sammy Watkins. It's really cool to see how hard Sammy Watkins has been working. And, you know, these players really are putting a lot of work. I am sweating so hard out there myself, just standing there in a shirt, trying not to look too stupid. And, you know, slowly talk to people here and there. And pretty much I just kind of, you know, float around, see what's going on, introduce myself if people talk to me first, you know. I don't know. But it's so hot out there. Like the sun just beats down on you constantly, which is okay, you know. But I work construction inside for a reason, so it's not too hot, not too cold. I need heat for my job. That's what am I complaining about? I'm like, I have the best access you could ever have somehow, thanks to Grandstand Sports Network. So I'm pretty stoked to be out there, see how hard these guys are working. I really like what I'm seeing out of Sammy Watkins, like the attention to detail with these coaches all the way down the line. It's awesome. And these players look focused. Really, really stoked this year for the Buffalo Bills team. I'm sorry to be so random I do have some notes, but I really wanted to talk about Wes Saxton and the Nathan Peterman connection. That's pretty cool to see some guys develop some talent. And if you want to relate back to it, you can look at Ryan Fitzpatrick and Stevie Johnson, Dick Drons last year here. So, they were second team guys, and that's how they developed, their chemistry. So I thought today, overall, you got a lot of screen passes. They're definitely drilling screen passes. You're definitely seeing the bunch sets regularly. You're definitely seeing balls thrown to tight ends still. And, expect LaShawn McCoy to be catching some balls. No pun. And he's lined up in the slot. You put that guy, defenses are going to cue in on him. Guess what? That's opening up a tight end. Boom, done. That's what I'm seeing out there. Also, I heard today that Andre Holmes did not have I don't know if he even had a target, but he did not have a catch today. Rob Streeter is just very consistent. I talked about him on yesterday's podcast real quick. But if you go on my Twitter, I caught part of most of the interview that Sal Capaccio had, which I'm sure you can catch that on WGR 550 from Sal, or go on Sal. I believe his name on Twitter still is Sal Sports, but look for Sal Capaccio. You can't miss him. Really good dude to talk to at camp. He kind of guided me with a couple things. I had a couple questions, which is cool. So thank you to Sal for that. But nonetheless, check out Numb Bills Fan on Twitter, and Sal was pretty much asking some really good questions to Streeter, and it's cool to see a guy grab an opportunity and run with it, because from what I'm hearing, you can do anything after Sammy Watkins with this wide receiver thing. And there were guys last season, every year there's receivers that get attached to, and it's like, how do you cut that guy? Wow, I'm shocked they caught him. And then you hope, man, maybe if they caught so-and-so, they'll bring him back. And then you don't hear about these guys ever again. And then these receivers go away. But Anquan Bolden talks. I guess it's kind of stalled. Brandon Bean was saying that he's more at the stage in his life, he's more in tune with family. And, when he comes in, if he does, it's just, he wants him to be all in on it, obviously, and he has to be, which he would be. So I really would like the Bills to pick up Anquan Bolden. I think that would be awesome, because I look at things like, how can we guarantee somebody's going to be in the right place, right time? I love potential. That's cool. But if we got some loot, let's get a guy in the door. That said, if somebody's showing up like Streeter, where it's like, man, what happened to him? I don't know. He was like, fifth in Oakland? That's not a rip. Everybody has a story. That's what's cool about the NFL, is they're complaining, oh, there's no stories at Bills camp. It's like, nah, maybe you're not looking. Maybe you're not looking hard enough. Interview some guys. Ask them some questions. Maybe be objective a little bit. No, there's stories there. Maybe, do some work. So there's some NFL news I really wanted to address. So Ryan Tannehill has a hyperextended knee, allegedly, is the latest update. Jay Ajayi just had a concussion. So Ajayi, I believe, was out for about a week. Tannehill, hyperextended knee. They're kind of nervous. Now there's, Kaepernick talk, of course, and so for me, I kind of think, you never want to be a douchebag and root for this to happen. If you're somebody who roots for injuries like that, you're really a jerk. It's one thing to maybe wish they had the flu, or they got a trial rehearsal today and they want to sit out the game. But don't be wishing like stupid shit on these people. Don't be tweeting them. I don't even like to tweet people or at Instagram guys positively, because I don't want to annoy them. But I'm just saying, don't root for injury. But the way the chips lie right now is you're not going to have chemistry with Tannehill and everybody else, you would figure. And at the same time, I don't know, you got Matt Moore. So what are you worried about? He's a very serviceable starter. So I don't know how much of a drop-off we're really talking about from Ryan Tannehill to Matt Moore. So really he can hold down the fort. So it's not anything to really, I would say, get excited about. But I will say it's not a bad thing for the Buffalo Bills. And that's about it. Word is the team was shitting their pants, essentially, the Dolphins, which I would be too. And, I talked about watching the Micah Hyde injury at practice right in front of me and come to find out it's his hip. He sat out of practice today, by the way, as expected. And, it was crazy it's crazy for one thing to be a fan, which, I clearly am a Buffalo Bills fan. When you're seeing a report come in about an injury and you wonder how it happened, what went down, and whatever. Well, to see the look on the team's face as they're watching Micah Hyde, I mean, I'm sure you care for your brother, but when you're talking about a top free agent for the Buffalo Bills that goes down, or you're talking about Miami losing Tannehill or Ajayi, Ajayi should come back. It's a concussion, very serious, but they come back from those. It really puts like a human aspect on the game. And I feel with clickbait and a lot of things out there, negativity is real. And it's really easy to be so negative, like, oh, of course the guy gets injured. You know what? I look at football now where if you got a roster, you might as well count about losing maybe 5 solid people a year. And how do you adjust to that? And it's just the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, you're going to have games that you shouldn't win that you win. You're going to have games that you should dominate on paper and you don't. And it comes down to execution. But when you lose a guy like Ryan Tannehill or you lose a guy like Micah Hyde, it's a big deal. When the Bills lost Aaron Williams, that defense just sank. Those guys are very important to their defense. So I'm kind of looking at things from a human aspect where I'll never root for a guy to be injured and stuff. But the fact is, it might be an opportunity for the Bills to, mind their P's and Q's, do the right thing this season, keep their work ethic up. And if you do the right thing, hopefully good things happen for them. So, I wish Ryan Tannehill the best of luck. I'll never root for an injury. So, dude, hang in there. But it's just a surreal moment when you see headlines come in on your phone or ProFootballTalk.com or other websites over the years. Or I was on Buffalo Rumblings for a long time, or Facebook groups, and to actually being there and seeing the injury happen in front of you, it's weird when you actually get to see like how people react. And then the next day at the press conference, I'm sitting behind some big name reporters, not going to mention any names, and they're putting 1 million guys on the detail for that injury and talking out loud, making assumptions, and you get to see the birth of these headlines in black that end up uploaded within an hour. And a big reason I personally don't write a lot is because it takes me a lot of time. I'm very unsure about myself writing, and it takes me a super long time. I could talk a lot easier than I could write because I can articulate my tone better. And honestly, when I write, I start getting all like, I want to label where my sources are, all that. I start getting crazy OCD about it. I want to make sure I'm right. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So anything I write is going to be very well researched. Very well researched. So respect to the guys who write for a living. It's very hard, and they need stories. I get it. But hey, they're good at what they do, and they have a career, and hats off to them. And I will retweet any good information I see come across my way as far as NFL and Bills news from any reporter. I'm really impressed with Ian Rappaport. That's a good follow. He actually got a garbage plate from Rochester. That's a big thing to me because that's Rochester culture right there, and that's where I'm from, and I'm here. So, as far as the rest of the Bills stuff, real quick went, I'll say that I think the defensive line is ahead of schedule here, as always. I mean, we're used to hearing that since Mario Williams' days, that the defensive line is just absolutely always killing it. And even Rex was saying, "Hey guys, I had to tell you guys to slow down a little bit. You know what I mean? You had to just had to tell them to stop." So, hey man, we told Jerry Hughes, "Jerry, calm down, dude. You're just a wrecking ball out there." Whatever. You get the point. But that's like really what happens is, "Oh dude, I can't believe it. Oh wow." So well, it's the truth though. These guys are getting off the ball quick. I mean, you got Ian Rappaport saying that the Bills are talented. You got a lot of guys around the league saying that the Bills are talented. That's cool to have national respect now. I honestly think it's just one of those things where Sean McDermott is frankly no bullshit. So people are like, he's just got his shit together. And honestly, the Rex Show did come to town, and the Rex Show was unorganized. I already ate crow on that a few podcasts ago. So it is what it is. Very psyched on really, I will say, going back to simplicity for the Bills defensive line. I'm really stoked on that. So, Tyrod Taylor's looked all right this camp. Nick O'Leary's been catching a lot of balls. I've been talking tight ends. Been talking bunch sets. I'm talking a bunch of stuff. You know who else is looking better is Des Lewis. That's one guy I noticed is looking good. You have a few guys. Obviously, we've talked Logan Thomas last podcast. That guy just keeps showing up. So you also had defensive end Eddie Arbo. He batted down a pass in 11-on-11. That's pretty cool, man. That shows some athleticism. So that's a second unit guy. Also, running back Tywan Jones, he actually got in for a little touchdown today. And also, he is up on my Periscope as well on Twitter. So if you want, check all that out. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Bills fan everywhere. My personal is David J. Palermo. Find me at Facebook. I'm friendly. Also, Bills fan is up on there. Sorry, this is a little bit jumbled today, but just some loose notes. I'll be back over the weekend. I have a guest coming up, Del Reed, the originator of Bills Mafia with 26 shirts. He's a hell of a dude. I met him at camp officially the other day, on Friday, opening day. And really stoked on Del. So shout out to Del Reed. We'll have him on ASAP. We were DMing today again. We've been in talks for like a year and a half. And, if nobody knows, I started out during the whole T.O. thing on Twitter back then with T.O. and Chad Ochocinco. I had a little egg. And I followed, the Bills Mafia. Now, I didn't go to a point of getting a little twibbing. I didn't get all crazy. But it's a big deal to have Del Reed on because I started out as a commenter taking dumps in the bathroom at work, reading Buffalo Rumblings comments. And for real, now somehow Grandstand Sports Network got me on the field to dive deep and report on stuff, and I can't thank them enough. So shout out to Grandstand Sports Network, Chad and Eric Turner. Thank you guys a lot. Cover1.net, GrandstandSportsNetwork.net, PunchdrunkSports.com, and NumbBillsFan.com. If you want advertisements, really, just go back to any other podcast. I'm going to chill out on that crap. So take care. And I'm your host, David Palermo. Find me everywhere, Bills fan. Thank you.